Good afternoon and a very warm welcome back to the Hearty Room. This is a very special moment for us in Queens. We haven't had live public events in here or in our Sonic Lab since, I suppose, February 2020, and I'm delighted that you're here, either with us in person or watching on the live stream, to welcome music back to the campus at Queen's. It's very special and very positive for us. Thank you for wearing a face covering, and thank you for your patience, because everything takes just a little longer in these COVID times. I need just to remind you, as I have so many times over the years, that we have exits on both and another fire exit of the door through which you came. Nobody could be more suited to reopening our live music here than Professor Ryan Malloy, who was a graduate of ours, who has gone on to distinguish so many areas of music in Ireland. And I think in doing so, certainly for me, he's stood my ideas on their head about music in Ireland and Irish music, and he continues to do so every time he sits down at a piano or picks up a fiddle. I'm delighted also to welcome his guest today, Shauna Mullin from Donegal, who plays a very important part on the Pianophony album, which is the core of today's recital. In that connection, if you don't have the album, and I know you'll want to have it after you've heard this, you can buy it after the show. Pianophony will be on sale, and also Ryan's more recent disc, because he pops them out. And there's a new one, again absolutely groundbreaking, which presents the work of 5 uilleann pipers in combination with piano with different tunings. So those discs are there, and please help yourself after the show. We are, as I say, we are back here, and events will follow. Next week in Sark, we have a very unusual event, Swarm, which features sounds from the Beehive, inside the Beehive in binaural stereo, and we invite you to check that out on Eventbrite. And in 2 weeks' time, I think it's 2 weeks' time, or 3 weeks' time, 3 weeks on the 14th, we have the first of our Beethoven events. We're not bothering with the 250th anniversary, we're going to celebrate the 251st. So Beethoven 251, we have a very special chance to hear the Kreutzer Sonata, Beethoven's largest string sonata, here, and that will be one of several events. The following week we shall have the Horn Sonata, and then 2 more big Beethoven sonatas in the spring. So that's a little theme that we've got this year. So thank you again for your patience and for attending Queen's concerts, and you can find details, if you haven't already, of all the events, qub.ac.uk/SARC, SARC/events. And among other things you can find is an interview from a year ago, which I did with Ryan Malloy. But now he's here in person, so please welcome Ryan Malloy and Shauna Mullin. Thank you.
in Belfast, again, back in Queens. It's always a pleasure to be here. Even though today I'm doing one of the things I absolutely fear the most in my musical existence, which is playing on my own. So this is a bit of a challenge for me. So bear with me. And I want to say a big thanks to Piers for having us here today, and for yesterday and everyone who came to my seminar to hear me witter on about kind of my life in general. So I'm not going to bore you with the same patter today. Hello to everyone that's watching as well. I know there's a couple of friends and family that are tuned in, so it's great that you can be with us virtually. And it's lovely to play such a beautiful instrument as this. So you may or may not be expecting the album. You may or may not get the album. The way the album worked, it featured several parts of my playing, or what I felt were parts of my playing. Me as an accompanist, which is my really happy place. So there was tracks where I'm backing myself essentially on the piano, which led to lots of weird questions from people going, how do you play those, like, all those big chords? And I'm like, well, it's actually two pianos there, so that's why. So I'm not doing that today, even though I do have two pianos, but I'm not going to give that a go. Then there's me as a solo player, and then there's also me as a song accompanist, which is one of my other favourite things to do. And it's definitely one of my favourite things to do when it's with Shauna Mullin, and I'm delighted that Shauna is here today to sing a couple of songs with me from the album. So please put your hands together and give a big warm welcome to Shauna.
Hello, it's lovely to be here. So nice to be here. Thanks a million for inviting us. I'm sure we're delighted. It's lovely to be revisiting this album actually with Ryan, even though he may or may not play lots out of it. But the songs, I think I've convinced him to do a good few of the songs anyway of it. It was such a happy time for me. I have such good memories of that whole process of that album, and I was really, really proud, to be honest, even though I'm very good friends with Ryan, so he kind of had to. No, but
that's a lie. Shauna was happy straight up.
So we're going to sing one this time. It's called The Heathery Hills. It's one that I learned from the singing of my mum. A lot of my songs tend to be sort of family songs, so you'd be scared that you're going to sing them wrong, but sure I did them anyway. It's a beautiful song. It was written by the poet Ethna Carberry, who's actually, she was from the village where myself and Damien live now. I'm in Charles and Donegal. And it's just a beautiful poem, very romantic and very nice. So we give it a lash.
Like a singing flame
and the voice of my lad to cheer me. I was my mother's treasure. I cry in dreams for my father's fields, and the city holds no pleasure. I parted seas and its golden store, though the wise folk may deride me, for a summer eve on the heathery hills, and the lad of my heart beside me.
So I realised halfway through that song that I completely forgot to tell you the first two things that I played were I started off with an air that opens the album called The Wounded Hussar, which is just a gorgeous tune that I learned from playing of fiddle player Breach Harper, which is the case with a lot of my tunes. Breach taught me fiddle for 10 long years, God help her, and it was just stunning to sit in front of her every week and to, I would only love to remember a fraction of the tunes that we learned, that I learned. I followed that with a set of jigs. The first was the Battering Ram, and the second was a tune called Lucy Fires. I'm going to continue now with a couple of reels that aren't on the album, but if you really like them, I might put them on another album. And so here, rock us like etc. So these are two kind of old Camalias, so to speak. The first is Jackie Coleman's, and the second is a version of Maud Miller's, I think. So here we go. this hand here is thinking as the tune backer, which normally has two hands to work with, and this hand is thinking like a fiddle, and the two don't get on at all, and like it's just turns into that mess. It's just so I'm gonna keep going on now with a set of hornpipes, which are off the album. The first two are kind of real old classic tunes. The first I learned from the playing of two friends, Aidan O'Donnell and Kieran Molloy, is called Humours of Ballyconnell, and it's just there's something about it. It's got real character. And the second one is the Paul Halfpenny, which I first heard played by the piper Patsy Toohey, and so I like doing little pipey things in the middle. And I finished then with a tune that I wrote called the Ballycommon Hornpipe, and this was written for a trad orchestra in Tipperary. They commissioned me to write a suite, and they're based in Ballycommon. And we haven't got to play it yet, sadly, because of COVID, etc. But hopefully it will. And it kind of, when I wrote the tune, I realised that it had been heavily influenced by the previous two tunes. It kind of has similar little turns. I haven't stolen it, I hope. But that's always a fear when you're writing trad tunes, you can nick it from someone else without realising it. So here we go, I'll give these a rattle.
mask off. I'm going to sing another couple of songs kind of from my family again. This one's called The Mountain Streams. It's a great song, loads of versions of it, and this is the easiest one. So that's why I chose this one. Great song, and then we're going to continue then with one called Craigie Hill, which is another brilliant song. Loads of people have covered it, but I just know it from my ones, Christmases and birthdays and all that kind of stuff that usually comes out. But I remember when we were kind of getting together to record the album, what Ryan does with this song, it breathed new life into it. You'll know what I mean. It's just the nicest accompaniment.
No pressure.
In my opinion. So yeah, we give it a go. With my dog I'm gone through yon blooming heather to seek for past I may took my way, where I espied a lovely fair one, and she invited me a while to stay. I said, my dear, if you'll find I love you, tell me your dwelling and your name also. Excuse my name and you'll find my dwelling near the mountain streams where the moorcocks crow. I said, my dear, if you'd wed a rover, my former rakings I would leave behind. Here is my hand, and I pledge my honor, and if you prove constant, I'll make you my bride. If my parents knew that I'd wed a rover, it's great afflictions I would undergo. So I'll stay at home for another season near the mountain streams where the moorcocks crow. So 'tis farewell, darling, for now I must leave you. I hope we'll meet on young moorland vale, and when we meet, we'll embrace each other and I'll pay attention to yon lovesick day. Then it's hand in hand we will roam together, and I'll escort you to yon plains below, where the linnets sing a note so pleasing. Near the mountain streams, where the moorcocks crow. Thank you. Thank you very much. That's why you should have manners and not say that things are easy to sing. Yeah, this one's Craigie Hill, so nice little one, and just watch out for what I'm talking about with Ryan's accompaniment. It being in the spring and the small birds were singing down by a shady harbour, I carelessly did stray where the thrushes they were warbling, the violets were charming, to view fond lovers talking a while I did delay. She said, my dear, don't leave me for another season. The fortune may be pleasing, I'll go along with you. I'll forsake friends and relations and quit this Irish nation, and come the bonny banks forever I bid adieu. He said, my dear, don't grieve me, or yet annoy my patience. You know I love you dearly, although I'm going away. I'm going to a foreign nation to purchase a plantation, to comfort us hereafter, all in America. Short while, if fortune does be pleasing, 'twill cause them for to smile at our late going away. We'll be happy as Queen Victoria, all in her greatest glory. We'll be drinking wine and porter, all in America. And their agents, their bailiffs and their beagles, the land of our forefathers, we're forced to give o'er. Now we're sailing on the ocean for honour and promotion.
sight to the bonny banks, your sorrow you'd give o'er, and if you were but 1 hour in her shady bower, pleasure would surround you, you'd think of death no more. So fare thee well, sweet Craigie Hill, where oft times I have roved in. I never thought my childhood days I'd card you any more. Now we're sailing on the ocean for honour and promotion, and the bonny boats are sailing along by Durin shore.
Fantastically. I want to say thank you very all for being so warm and receptive and supportive. Again, many thanks to Queen's for having us here. As Pierre said, there are CDs for sale outside if you are so interested, along with just a handful of copies of the Pipeline if you're into that kind of thing. But yeah, thanks again to everyone for coming. I'm going to wrap up now with a couple of reads. The first, or at least I'm going to try. The first is, actually they're both tunes I've written. The first one is called The Blackwater Manor Reel, which might be familiar to a gentleman down in the back corner. You don't have your pegs with you, do you?
Not today, right?
This was written for my sister who got married at the end of July as a kind of as a recessional piece. And they very kindly chimed along with me on that one. So yeah, that's the Blackwater Manor Reel. Because they live in Blackwater Manor, in case you were wondering. It's a housing estate, not a manor, just in case you were thinking. And the second tune is called Louise's Reel, which I wrote for my wife, Louise. So you can see I'm very inventive with my titles. I put a lot of thought into what I'm calling. This could go horribly wrong, so wish me luck.